just don't know that he belongs on the Mount Rushmore of Texas quarterbacks.
We do not fucking care. We do not fucking care. We do not fucking care. God. Fuck. He wants a ring. He wants to win it at Texas. I mean, let's go cement this franchise is what it's turning into. Let's turn this into a fucking dynasty.
Welcome to the Surly Horns podcast. It is season 7, episode 2. We're on a little bit of a weird cadence for now, but things will smooth out and season 7 will continue. RGB3, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Apologies for last week. We missed a week, and like I said, we're going to be more consistent with these. We missed a week. I was at a cheer competition in Dallas. Shout out Baby Rage, my daughter's cheer team, who won national champions for their whatever age group. So Baby Rage, let's go. I'm that cheer dad. So
we've got a lot to talk about. Action-packed episode today. First things first. Episode of the podcast title. What's going on?
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Coach Steve Sarkisian. Sark After Dark. I hope he's celebrating with a few non-alcoholic beverages. Yeah, happy birthday. I don't know how old you are, and I'm too lazy to look.
Yep, 1 year older than you were.
Wait, let's guess, though. Let's guess. Okay, so he obviously had his struggles with alcohol, so that ages you a little bit.
He's 54. If I had to, just 54 is my guess.
54. I'm going younger. I'm going 52. Let's see. He was born in
Sark
1974. Age. I'm not doing the math on that. He's 50. 50. See, told you alcohol ages you, right?
Oh, yeah, he's 50 today.
50, 50, which is what he's going to be dropping on everybody. That's his average points per game next season, 50.
My birthday is a week from today. I never remember until something like this happens, and then I'm like, oh shit, my birthday is the 15th of March, the Ides of March.
Birthdays just suck when you get older. Like, I never look forward to my birthday. So the only thing I look forward to on my birthday's May 4th. I'm a big Star Wars guy, and I just so happen to be born on Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. So I rewatch all 3 original trilogy movies with my kids on my birthday. Other than that, I'm just fucking older. That's it.
My wife just asked me last week. She's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? Do you want to go to dinner, like have a party? I was like, I just don't want to fucking do anything.
I want to be left alone.
I just want to be left alone. But we're going to go to Lupe Tortilla and invite some people and just go to Lupe Tortilla, eat the fajitas that are like crack. They marinate them in crack.
It's the lime. Like how it's however much lime they put on it is the perfect amount of lime to put on fajitas. That, and I do like their big old flour tortillas that you have to like rip half of it off to be able to eat it. Solid spot. Great it's chain. Solid. Yeah, probably easily top 3 Mexican food chain out there.
And we are looking for sponsorship. Yes. So Lupe Tortilla, you want to bring some food to tailgate?
If you literally all you have to do is just like I want one of those. All the celebrities end up getting like the Chipotle cards where you just get free Chipotle. Like I will that's all I'm looking for is one restaurant to sponsor this that just gives us free food. Like that's it. Free food, free booze, and that's all we've ever asked for. We're not hard to please. All we've ever gotten is Manscaped, and I think that's because they saw how fucking hairy we are.
Yeah, I think so. They wanted me to use it somewhere that wasn't visible. So we're what else is going on? Like what else have you been up to this past week?
So I found God. I found religion in a movie theater because I attended Dune 2 in IMAX, and it was a religious experience. It might have been the gummies that helped as well. I was on at least probably 30 milligrams, but it was awesome. I did not get the popcorn bucket, unfortunately. That the sandworm popcorn bucket that you can also fuck. I did not happen to receive that. So
what's the sandworm that's there? What's the gimmick in the popcorn bucket?
wait, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh my god!
Is it something that we should pull up?
Yes, absolutely. You need to share it. Just type in Dune 2 popcorn bucket.
Oh, it auto completes.
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
It is
pictures, images.
Yes, images.
Oh my god! What is that? That's scary.
It's some Dune-ussy, man.
That is. We gotta share this.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. If you haven't seen it, I mean, there's no way you can't try to buy one of these, but they're sold out. You can't find them. People are going there. Just
this is a little bit crazy. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. Oh my goodness. What?
I'm a little turned on, honestly. Jimmy Kimmel.
God.
Timothy Chalamet is fisting Jimmy Kimmel on right here.
So I watched Wonka, and I'd seen the original Dune and really liked him in it, and then watched Wonka, and I was like, man, this guy's actually a pretty good actor.
Yeah, he's great. You should watch the movie. I think it's called The King, about some old fucking king. I can't remember. He's great in it. Robert Pattinson's in it. Yeah, it's on Netflix. The King. I don't know.
And not to round out the pop culture segment that that is right now, but we do have to mourn the loss of the great Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball Z. So,
well, I actually never got into Dragon Ball Z.
You never watched Dragon Ball Z? You're fucked in the head, bro.
Never. I know the Gokus and all that. I never watched it. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know.
My son has been telling my wife that his name is Goku Gohan for the last week because we've been watching the original Dragon Ball for the last like 3 months. And it's torture for him because he really wants to watch Dragon Ball Z, and I'm like, you're not allowed to watch Dragon Ball Z until we watch like the whole original Dragon Ball all the way through.
Yeah, for sure. You got to get the original. So that's the deal I have with my kids as well. I've been reading a chapter of Harry Potter every single night, and all they want to do is watch the movies. I said, you got to read the books first.
Got to read the books.
That guy. You got to read the books first.
Yeah, I mean, if we had, maybe we can have some production value here, and we can turn Super Saiyan for Akira Toriyama. Just Super Saiyan hair. But rip Akira Toriyama, fucking legend. Let's talk about some interesting things that are going on around the building. What happened? We talked about like last season, and then it's off season. We didn't even get into off season. We teasered talking about the new GM position, but the makeup of the Texas football coaching staff completely different going from year to year. And it's not that there's always just a rotating door of coaches, but it is seeming more and more like Sark is going to have a system like Nick Saban, where you're going to have great coaches that come up. They're going to maybe coach for a year, 2, 3 years, and then they're going to move on. And we've got to figure out a strategy on how to get these coaches to go through. It's a sign of a healthy program is, people wanting the coaches that you have, because previously we didn't have that issue. Nobody wanted the fucking shit coaches that we had. Nobody's bursting down our door to go hire some of these fucking guys, which, it's great. And for the most part, this is all upward trajectory, as well as being able to poach people that are, for instance, Nansen, who took over as the defensive line coach. He took a demotion to come to Texas, from a play calling defensive coordinator to just a D-line coach, or linebackers coach. I can't remember. Linebacker. Linebackers coach. Yeah, because Kenny Baker. Who the fuck is Kenny Baker?
Don't know who the fuck
we don't know. But we don't know who Kenny Baker is.
Those are the ones that you can get kind of excited about because at least it's the unknown. Like when you hire a Terry Joseph who's doing it forever, Terry Joseph. You know what he brings. You know how he brings it.
I don't know. Like I'm still not fucking sold on.
No, I'm not either.
Replacing Bo Davis with the young Bo Davis that didn't play at a high level anywhere. Bo Davis played the position at an extremely high level at LSU. And for those that don't know who live under a fucking rock, Bo Davis,
he got in the fucking
motherfucker. He got in the motherfucker.
He got in the motherfucker. Yeah, he got in the motherfucker and transferred his ass to LSU.
But he went back to LSU where he went to school. It's his alma mater. And
his son's there.
The rumor is that they're going to let his son on the football team. So Texas wasn't willing to just be like, hey, yo, anybody can come and just walk on the 40 acres and do whatever. That's not the case. There are academic standards. There are you actually do need to be a football player.
You have to play school.
Yeah.
You have to play school.
And so LSU said, you could come here and coach your kid.
Yeah. We don't care what you do because that's typical LSU. And then, Choate, we lost Choate, who Nansen took over. But he's the head coach of Nevada. And it looks like a bunch of grad assistant types followed him to get on-field coaching positions, which is an even better sign because that makes those positions even more desirable for people that want to get into coaching. So we can hire top talent. Either way, I'm not worried in the slightest about the on-field coaching aspect and what we're getting, as long as you retain a certain select few like Kyle Flood and
Jeff Banks.
Yeah, and Jeff Banks. I mean, those three, just from a recruiting aspect, are monstrous. So anyway, we'll see. I'm excited to see what the new hires look like, and I think I think we're going to have this exact same conversation next year. Of man, it sucks that we lost those guys. Cool. I'm excited about the guys we got to replace them. As long as old birthday boy himself's still here, I feel pretty confident in being able to attract the top talent.
Well, yeah. So, we talked a little bit and teased the GM position, but the GM position at Texas is going to be a really, really important position. And we basically had somebody that was shared responsibility and they kind of did a whole bunch of stuff together in Billy Glasscock and Brandon Harris. But now Billy Glasscock is gone. He left to take the GM position at Ole Miss. And internally, there were several promotions on the personnel and management side of the program. So RGB, walk us through those changes.
Brandon Harris, he gets promoted, which is awesome. Former LSU quarterback. He's been here forever, it seems. And North Carolina. I forgot he played at North Carolina too. But he's been here for a while.
Young guy, very relatable.
Yeah, young, relatable dude. But yeah, now he's going to be the GM. So big shoes to fill, big role to fill. I was shocked that they didn't kind of bring in somebody from, that left Bama, with Saban gone. Maybe it's a non-compete thing. But I thought whenever we saw that happen, I thought for sure that meant we're going to bring in one of those dudes. But we'll see. We'll see what Brandon Harris has. Maybe he's learned enough, in his time here so far. And, we can only be hopeful on that front. But the thing I'm most excited about was, they brought Chris Gilbert back, from
big time hire. Big time hire.
He was a blow when we lost him, just from, in terms of his high school recruiting relations, and his ability to connect with the players too. So bringing him back, I think, was an absolute no-brainer. And it would.
Well, Brandon Harris is only 28. He's under 30, right? He's a young guy. So very relatable to the players still. I don't know that he's 28. He's young though. And apparently, within the walls of the building has been spot on all of his talent evaluations. So what he's seeing these players and what their potential is and what they can develop into is turning out to be so. So I think a lot of this isn't just happenstance that he was there and it's time to promote this guy. It's like, well, maybe now that the GM position is a thing that we want to focus on, maybe Brandon Harris is really the guy. He's done a tremendous job at the talent evaluation. He's done a tremendous job of bringing talent to Texas, helping talent stay at Texas, and then really organizing everything that goes on with that roster management now. Because let's be honest, guys, roster management has a lot more to do with NIL than just pure talent evaluations.
Well, and what's nice for us at Texas is we truly the only thing that we have to worry about to be a successful football program, in my opinion, is talent evaluation and talent development. Because in terms of recruiting, I think, number one, the university recruits itself. The program recruits itself. The success we've had so far has recruited itself. The NIL program, bar none, recruits itself. So really, in terms of being able to get the talent here, not an issue. Being able to find the right talent, the right people, the right locker room fits, and then get them in, get them on board with the program, and then develop them. Two things, and that's all we have to do. To simplify things, are probably the two hardest things to do, but they are only two things because the rest of it's taken care of in terms of NIL. Shout out texas1fund.org. If you are not a donor, please go sign up, donate as little as $22 a month. Trust me, every single dollar helps. And if you're a member of Burn Ends as well, or if you're not a member of Burn Ends, please go to burnendsnil.com, sign up there, support your tight end room, make sure that they're getting the love that they deserve for what it amounts to a thankless job sometimes, unless you're JT Sanders. So, and speaking of JT Sanders, we had some big stuff
got a little bit of news going on. This past week has been very interesting for several of the players that declared for the draft, because most of those players that declared received invites to the combine. And, there's some interesting things that happened. I think the first really interesting thing is, let's talk about Ryan Watts and how him showing up at the combine and trying to work out with corners and everybody basically being like, nah, dude, you're going to be an NFL safety. Yeah. And then all of his numbers basically pinning him to the donkey, NFL safety.
Yep. No. And I think that I wish we got to see him more at Texas. I wish he stayed another year and got to play safety at Texas. I like our defensive back room and where it's at right now, but I think it would have been great to have another veteran back there, because safety, I think, was easily our worst position last year, and it seems like he, for the most part, played corner out of necessity.
Corner out of necessity, for sure.
Yeah. So it would have been great to see him a year at safety, his NFL position, and see what that would have done to his draft stock if he actually got through a full healthy year playing safety.
All these motherfuckers that talk shit all season about Ryan Watts being slow, turns out he ain't slow.
No, he really wasn't.
He's not slow. He was pretty quick. Pretty good 40 time.
Yeah, I mean, and we're kind of
Tavondre Sweat ran a 4.2.
Yeah.
What did he say on Twitter? He goes, what, y'all talk about Xavier Worthy? He's like, I ran a 4.2 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, for a big man, he did run a 4.2. What, he ran like a 5.56, right under 5.6?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, right under 5.6.
Insane. Like he's the third heaviest person to ever be invited to the combine since 2000. And he ran a sub 5.6 40. Insane.
That's crazy. Well, insane. Any NFL team that makes Tavondre Sweat actually have to run 40 yards during a football game is probably having a really bad year. If your nose tackle's trying to chase down running backs.
No, even faster, 5.27.
Yeah, I thought it was in the 5.2s. Yeah, it's pretty quick. Yeah, I think
that's insane.
I think he's the heaviest guy to ever run under 5.3 or something like that.
And then Byron Murphy, explosive.
I mean, the dude's just absolutely. Did you see the quote? He said, "I've been swole since birth," or something like that. He's like, "I was swole coming out of the womb." and he showed out. He was a combine star. I think he's going to go. Honestly, he could be a top 10 pick.
First round, easy. Yeah. He's top 10 pick. He's a top 10 pick. He solidified himself. Top 10 pick for sure. At least after his combine performance, he just absolutely showed out. Adonai Mitchell, everybody thought that Adonai was just a good hands, really big catch radius guy, really solid route runner. All of those things are true. Second fastest wide receiver at the combine.
That's what shocked me the most. So Xavier Worthy, obviously, if you haven't heard, broke the record, NFL Combine record. I was more shocked by
4.21
Mitchell.
4.21 faster than a fucking cheetah, bitch.
And 4.21, and so he beat John Ross's record. And here's a little tip: he's actually good at football compared to John Ross. So, and John Ross went number 9. Like, if you don't think he's going in the first round, that's crazy. If somebody doesn't take him, they're crazy. I mean, he's a good football player.
Yeah, you take a flyer. You take a flyer at that point, because I think what's happened is people, maybe have heard about Xavier Worthy in the player sphere and in the NFL, but he really did have a skill set for that fit well in college. His speed was great, whatever. But unless you really watched Xavier Worthy and all the routes he did run, the stats didn't necessarily reflect a lot of what happened. Maybe some of that was some drops. Maybe some of that was, some of his bigger catches were just streaks and not really good route running. But the dude can really run some great routes. Like, his route running was always good and did nothing but improve the entire time he was at Texas.
He had some issues with drops, not last season, but the one before. But he played through a broken hand. That's the thing that I always hear about. He played with a broken hand, or he had so many drops. He dropped crucial. It's like, fucking broken hand. And people talk a lot about Xavier Worthy and holding Texas for ransom and all that bullshit. I can tell you firsthand. Get over yourself. That's not how it happened. And he's an absolute consummate professional.
He's been nothing but business from day one at Texas. And so I think some of that now they've started to go look at some of the film. Yep. And now they're like, oh, this guy runs a 4.21 and not just in a straight line. Not just in a straight line. He is running a 4.21, and he'll juke your ass and leave your fucking shoes behind corners because he will burn you.
Worthy is, he'll run through you too. I'll never forget. Yeah. I was sitting in the end zone at the Oklahoma State game this past year, and he ran through a corner, and I was hype as fuck. He's just a dog. That's the thing people always think.
And then that one play where Jay Witt comes back, strips the ball, Xavier Worthy's right there, 100% effort play from everyone on the team, but that doesn't happen if he just lollygags and it's like, fuck it, that happened. Jay Witt came back, knocks the ball out, Xavier Worthy recovers, and that's all pure effort, team player type shit that really resonates with the people that are organizing and drafting players in the NFL. So I think that Xavier Worthy added quite a bit to his already pretty solid draft stock. I think that he has to go in the first round. I don't know. He's not an early first round pick, and he's not one of the first wide receivers off the board. But I think that you just can't justify letting a guy like that get away from you unless you have a perfect fit receiver.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
A.D. Mitchell's I think he's first wide receiver off the board.
Yeah, no. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be. Yeah, and then I don't know. He'll be a wide receiver off the board in the first round. But either way, I think they're going to have some great fits. Even if the picks are in the 20s, I would love for the Texans or the Cowboys to grab one of these guys. I'd be super excited to watch them. And shit. Imagine Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs. That's a cheat code.
That's the rumor. The rumor is.
Oh my gosh, that'd be scary. That'd be terrifying. But anyway, I don't have to worry about my team facing Xavier Worthy right now, and I hope I don't.
Well, and talking about Jay Witt didn't do some of the drills. I think he had he tweaked an ankle or a hamstring or something, but he did work out. He did do all the interviews. All of that very positively received. He, I think, outbenched everybody in the wide receiver room.
Not a shot there.
Yeah. Dude put up 27 reps or something at 225. It was insane. So a really good showing. The pundits across all networks, NFL Network, CBS, Fox, all said Texas had the best combine. And they were like, it came out of nowhere. Texas hasn't even had a presence at the combine in so long. And now Texas, far and away, one of the best schools represented at the NFL Combine.
They won the combine. Texas was easily the star of the show at the combine, and I think that can do nothing but help recruiting efforts. For the longest time, we had the reputation of Texas doesn't develop. Texas doesn't develop. You can't get to the league. I mean, that just blew up in their face. I mean, we legitimately, you could have 4 or 5 first-round picks in this, depending on JT Sanders, really. But in my opinion, I mean, obviously Byron Murphy. I think T Sweat should be a first-round pick.
I don't know. I don't know how you don't pick T Sweat in the first round. Maybe it's just because nose is so specialized that you don't want to invest.
Yeah, but at least my guess is we're going to see at least, I would say, 6 or 7 players drafted in day 1 or day 2 by the 3rd round. Because even the guys like Jay Brooks, it wouldn't shock me to see Ryan Watts even up there. There are plenty of dudes and then obviously, the JTs and plus you'll have, Whittington, I think, gets drafted. I think we're going to see Christian Jones, I think, certainly going to get drafted.
Oh, Christian Jones certainly gets drafted. But he's, I think, a day 3 pick.
Day 3.
But solid pick. Did great. Yeah.
Yeah, a swing tackle in the 5th round. I mean, I think he's going to be one of those guys that he could have a 10-year NFL career, even as a backup. Just if he can play left and right tackle at a serviceable level as a swing tackle, that's a good career right there. And then our boy Jay Brooks, I think he's going to be the first running back off the board.
He's RB1 off the board, like 1,000%. Yeah. There's no way that he's not the first running back picked. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. So, and with all this success, I think the best part about this is people get paid. With this coaching turnover, this combine's getting players paid, and guess who else is getting paid? The birthday boy himself.
Birthday boy!
Hey, that's a birthday. That's the biggest birthday present you could give yourself. Of course, this happened like a month back, but he got absolutely paid. As long as this doesn't go the way of Jimbo, I think we're pretty good. What was the total that he got breaded up for?
The extension?
Yeah, 10 seasons through 2030. So
2030.
It adds 4 years. So it adds 4 years to his initial 6-year deal. Up to his
and then he's guaranteed a minimum of 10 a year, right?
10.3.
And then it goes up, a little bit every year, whatever.
100K per, yeah.
Doesn't matter. Dude earned it. He took, Texas took a flyer on a story and a guy that can coach, great offensive mind. He had a fucking terrible first season. Don't think he realized how much of a rebuild it was. Took it upon himself to say, fuck it, we're investing. We're going to do the rebuild. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to take it down to the studs and rebuild the entire program from the inside out. And now you've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it in 3 years. That's what's crazy.
Did it in 3 years? Yeah. I mean, and not all through the portal. The portal was really just supplemental for some gaps. Some key gaps, and there are some key names that we've mentioned that have come from the portal, but it wasn't all portal. It's a lot of what has happened has been internal culture building and really culture turning this program into a team that plays for each other and plays for the university instead of just a bunch of really good individuals on the field.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing with that is I think the roster management that we keep going back to is such a crucial part of that and a crucial function. Building on the lines, building in the trenches is so big. Having the offensive line class that he did, shout out Pancake Factory as always. But having the offensive line class was so huge for what we wanted to do and where we really developed. If we didn't have that recruiting class last year, I mean, we'd be. There's no way we make the college football playoff. Not a chance. So kudos to Stark. I think he deserves every single dollar. I'm excited what he's doing. I think this is just going to fuel him even more. I think it's easy for people to be like, well, I got my money. I can lay back and coast. I don't think he's that kind of guy. From my, interactions with him, I don't think he's that kind of guy. He's somebody, he wants a ring. He wants to win it at Texas. I mean, let's go cement this franchise is what it's turning into. Let's turn this into a fucking dynasty.
Yeah. And one thing that I think is really interesting, that a lot of people may not understand or know about Steve Sarkisian and this coaching regime at Texas is how in tune with the current landscape they really are. It wasn't like he came to this job and was like, NIL, just got to like learn how to do that whenever. It was very intentional the way that he has gotten involved, gotten in front of, and really messaged all of his recruiting is you play for Texas first.
Yep.
And on the back end, everything works itself out from the NIL side. So a lot of schools are leading with the NIL piece of it, right? And now that the legislation has gone through where you can use it basically as a recruiting tool and an inducement tool outside the state of Texas with collectives directly bargaining with recruits. And so now you can have coaches talking to collectives and saying, hey, we just want this player. And then the player just openly negotiates with the collective to say, okay, yeah, like I'm just going to go to this school. Sark has said, if you fucking do that, you're not going to be recruited by Texas.
Yeah.
You get recruited to Texas, football first, fit second, and then like way down the list is NIL. And it's not that NIL is not important to these recruits, and it's not that these recruits are actually going to take less money in NIL if they choose Texas. Yep. It's just you don't choose Texas if it's all about the money. Like, fuck off, go to a different school. And
we don't want that.
Like that may burn
A&M.
That may burn and sting on one or two recruits here and there. But I think if you're trying to build and establish a program, that's the right way to do it.
Yep, 100%. We're not interested in the Zach Evans recruitments going out, just trying to find somebody that has their fucking Walter Nolan. We're not interested in those recruitments. We don't need to be interested in those recruitments. We'll find somebody just as good. We'll develop them, and we don't have to worry about them hitting the portal and holding somebody hostage every single fucking offseason, every single time the portal opens. We're not interested in that. We don't need to be. The last thing that's talked about in any recruiting meeting is going to be NIL. There's no need to. NIL, it figures itself out because Texas just has more to offer than anybody else, especially in terms of the corporate. They don't have a pro team in Austin except for MLS. I barely count that. Sorry, Verde. But I am the BMW of Los Angeles is too busy sponsoring the backup point guard on the Lakers to give a shit about USC. I mean, that's why Texas has such a built-in corporate base is, BMW of Austin doesn't have a pro team guy that can throw it out. Sure, they could throw Dak Prescott on there, but he's a Dallas guy at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, one thing that I just want to point out specifically is if you don't think that Sark knew what he was getting into with this new contract and having some specific asks around support for NIL, and that being a big part of this contract negotiation and why the timing of it was after all of the Saban leaving and everything else, and how that didn't turn it into just this huge take it to the mat balloon contract. You look at Nick Saban, especially the interviews he's been giving lately. One interview he gave within the last week talked about one of the key reasons and one of the moments he knew he didn't want to do this anymore, or that kind of snapped into focus that maybe this just ain't it anymore, is whenever they lost to Michigan. He said the way that the players acted after that game, he was like, made me just not want to do this anymore.
Yep.
It was all about how much money can I make somewhere else, whatever. They didn't grieve as a team. It had nothing to do with losing the game. They were all just on to the next. And I don't think that's how Saban has built that team. And I think he had maybe lost some of that culture because that's just what it was. That's part of the game now, is there is real compensation requirements for these guys who command compensation for their name, image, and likeness.
Deservedly. That's
Deservedly.
it. Yeah, and part of that, the Sark negotiation, like you talked about, revolving around NIL, absolutely. I mean, the NIL machine has to keep chugging, otherwise the coach at the helm is going to fail. That's the nature of college football. And let me tell you, I, as part of, as somebody that is part of the NIL machine of the University of Texas, I've never slept better. In terms of our fundraising efforts and what we're able to do in the recruiting landscape, the retention landscape, just solely because we are playing by the rules. We're doing everything the right way. We're fulfilling our 501c3 obligations. Players are getting paid. Promises are getting fulfilled. And the thing just keeps chugging along. This is an NIL program that all Texas fans should be proud of. So anyway, recruiting is going to get fun. We'll talk more about recruiting when there's shit to actually talk about, more towards the spring game. Because we're going to have
we'll do like a full class review and hype everybody up, and maybe what to look for during the spring game. Who's showed up and showed out as an early signee and an early enrollee, because there were quite a few more early enrollees. That seems to be the trend now, especially at Texas and what Sark's trying to build. If you want to play early and contribute season one, if you're not an early enrollee, forget about it.
Yep.
Forget about it.
Yep, for sure.
All right, so we've got some other sports going on. Some good, some not so good.
Let's talk about the good one we missed. Let's talk about the good one we missed. We're national champions in volleyball. And
back to back.
Dynasty, baby. Dynasty. I can't wait to see what they do this year. But yeah, national championships
it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good.
So far, so good. Yeah.
And we would love to, if there's interest, we do want to have the Surly Horns Kill Squad.
Kill Squad. We need it. We got to do it. We got to figure it out. We got to do it. That's got to be the next step that we take for sure.
But that's really exciting. Returning a lot of good talent. They're going to make another run at it next year, back to back. Hopefully, we'll see.
Let's just never lose again. Again.
Yeah. And the just keeping on the theme with the ladies, women's basketball,
crushing,
playing lights out. I mean, dropping a game that you don't want to drop here and there. Like these are the types of things that are just nice to complain about. I mean, you'd rather not have any complaints, but like if you got some, it's like, okay, you're going to lose to a top ranked team late in the season. Okay, well that sucks. It's not great, but this team is playing lights out. And they're playing with some players that have some key injuries.
Yeah, let's say big injuries.
And they've got some true freshmen showing out. Like, everything seems to be a recipe to make a run deep in the tournament.
Yep, absolutely. And then with men's basketball, not as good. They've been better in the past week or so. They're definitely a lock for the tournament. They'll probably be in the 8th seed range, I'm guessing.
We can say that now. Had we done this podcast originally scheduled last week, that was still very fucking iffy whether this team was even going to make the tournament.
Very, very, very. But the good news is I think that at least has passed. So we'll see what they do in the tournament. I hope, hopefully they go on a run. I think they can, if they're healthy, especially with Dylan Dessou, as long as he's playing, we've seen what he can do. We'll see. I think they can make some noise. I think overall, coaching and overall talent's going to hold them back a little bit, especially shooting. But I think we can make some noise. I think we could steal a game or two. I would love at least a Sweet 16 run.
Sweet 16 would be fantastic. Round of 32 would be great. Do not lose in the fucking first round.
Oh, please no.
Please don't.
Please no. I can't. Yeah. I can't deal with that again.
I mean, that would be terrible. That would be very, very bad for morale going into next season, I will say. Because this season is mediocre at best right now. And I think people had, I don't know if it was rightly so, but coming off of the run that they had last season,
yeah,
it wasn't the level of drop off was not expected, and then the sheer level of effort that is missing in some games is just it's just kind of confusing and mind boggling. I mean, I was at that UCF game where they just
not nice. Yeah, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah. 17-point lead. House is rocking, and then they fucking lose.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about
nearly
that
10. Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely terrible. Anyway.
Yeah, and then the whole horns down bullshit after that, too. Drove me fucking crazy. Like, that's the last damn thing. I can't keep reiterating. You would think Rodney Terry would know better. Texas fans, they do not give a fuck about the horns down. Nobody cares. I do not care if you do the horns down. I think it makes the team or the fan that does it look fucking stupid. It does not bother me in the slightest. It is just annoying that they think that it gets to us. So, which in some weird fashion actually does get to us because of how annoyed we are that it annoys us. It's just so fucking stupid. And every time somebody brings it up, oh, they're doing the horns down, I truly just don't fucking care. I just do not want it to be a story. And Rodney Terry blowing it up and making it a fucking story killed me. It killed me. The second it became a thing, and then, TCU made T-shirts for the student section with the horns down, and, we're going to piss off them damn sips. Yeah. We do not fucking care. We do not fucking care. We do not fucking care. God. Fuck.
The TCU game where they made the horns down shirts and then just lost at home.
Yeah, they got whooped.
The Barstool TCU or whatever. What a bunch of fucking morons.
What
and then,
idiot.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Talking about weird merch, not that our merch is going to be weird. I have a package in the mail that's making its way to me with some samples from a friend of ours.
Yeah.
That I am very excited to show on video on the next podcast. We're going to have knives. We're going to have the ability to make aprons, all kinds of leather goods. Cups. If you want. Yeah. And we're going to have it with the Surly Horns logos. And we're currently in talks with the university about being able to use official brand marks.
They started, so now at texas1fun.org, you are able to go on the shop and purchase Texas trademarked gear as well. So hopefully Surly gets that ability as well, and that's going to be fucking sick. And then, shout out Gunny. If you haven't checked out his NIL store yet, Inside Texas is also doing this, but wait for the Surly stuff to drop because it is sweet. I have a leather apron that I use for my for my brisket making, and then I have a shit ton of knives that Gunny made, and they are perfect quality Damascus steel, the real fucking deal. So be on the lookout for that dropping soon.
Awesome. So baseball is happening. There are some significant struggles right now, especially related to pitching. And so if the bats aren't coming on and you have great pitching, you can still win games in baseball. But if you have neither,
you
just get fucking blown out.
That's the issue. It has not been pretty. The pitching's been awful. Minute Maid Park, that series, holy shit. I watched all those games. It was a beating. LSU we couldn't get a hit off that fucking guy for LSU. It was just a terrible offensive showing. Then the next day, we were down, 6-0 to Vandy, and then come back and then still fucking lose. And then the next game against Texas State, we were up, I think 6-0 there, and then they murdered us. It's bad. This whole year is bad. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get David Pierce fired, but I mean, goodness, it's not fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. It has been an absolute struggle to watch this team. But it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And there's a thread that we had to change the name of. But now the thread is named David Pierce Makes Me Big Sad. So if you're feeling big sad, go to surlyhorns.com, go to the baseball forum, find David Pierce Makes Me Big Sad thread. Go post some stuff in there. Yeah.
About being sad.
About being sad and why you're so sad. Now, we did promise that we were going to do a segment this week, and that segment is the Mount Rushmore of players. And this week's position group, the field generals, the quarterback. So got to start with the quarterback.
Got to start with it. So I think we have not compared lists at all. I think two of ours are going to be easy to figure out. I think, no doubt, two of ours match. So let's just get those out of the way. So Vince Young is obviously the head honcho.
He's the guy in the front, right? I mean, he's the guy.
Yep.
In front.
So it's it. That's
it's the George Washington.
Yep. So, and then if you're looking at the George Washington, the John Adams behind him would be Colt McCoy. Got to be Colt.
Had the record as the winningest quarterback in college football for quite some time until that bullshit record got smashed by the guy from Boise who played not in a real league.
Bullshit. Yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't fucking count. But yeah, Colt easily number 2, probably would be number 1 on many other teams' lists. But I think unanimous for Texas fans, VY and Colt are the gold standard of what it means to be a quarterback at the University of Texas and achieved the most notable recent success without question.
Yeah.
So my number 3 seems like it's different than your number 3. So my number 3 is Major Applewhite. So Major Applewhite. The Major is my number 3 because he was my childhood. He was the guy that I mainly remember growing up. Sims was better as a quarterback, but Major Applewhite was my dude. One time he randomly signed my hat and said, hey kid, you want an autograph from the Major? And I didn't say yes, and he just picked it off my head and signed it and then put it back on my head without me asking. And you know what? Made my childhood. So the Major is my number 3.
Okay. All right. I guess so.
Hey, it's fun. It's
just to make this fun, my number 3 will be Sims.
Yeah, I know it. I knew you were going to choose Sims. I knew it. Yeah.
For no other reason other than I think your number 3 is an entirely emotional pick that makes no sense.
Wait for my number 4. Do
I want to wait for your number 4? I'll go.
You go. Give us
James
your number
Street.
3.
You got to talk about James Street. Are you serious right now?
James Street,
right now?
James Street definitely. He was on my short list, is what I'll say.
You're on your short list.
He did not make my list.
He
did not make my list. He's on my short list.
First of all, 1969, nice.
Yep, that's true.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
He was
MVP of the football team in 69.
Yeah, he was actually there the years my dad played. So I probably should do that. I've heard many stories about James Street, but I never got to watch him. So it's hard for me to put anybody that I didn't watch on my Mount Rushmore. Right or wrong, that's how I'm going to do it. Sure, I didn't really see Earl Campbell play, but he's going to, shocker, he's going to be on my Mount Rushmore quarterbacks.
I mean, you've seen enough highlights, right?
Oh, yeah. All of them. Well, all right. So number 4 for me, Sam Ellinger. I'm putting
you just
Bam
got
Bam
some recency bias going on, bro.
A little bit, but statistically, I mean, Sam got us a Sugar Bowl win. He missed. I mean, imagine what he'd do if it wasn't fucking bumblefuck Tom Herman coaching him. I think he would have a better career. Hindsight, I wish he stayed in.
God damn, I wish Sark wouldn't have run him off for 5-7. We'd have definitely not been 5-7 had Sam stayed.
100%. Yeah, we're at least making probably another fucking Alamo Bowl, but we'd probably make at least a bowl game with Sam.
With Sam Ehlinger and Bijan. Are you serious? Easy.
Ready for the next hot take? This year, we're going to have this podcast again next year, and Quinn Ewers is going to be on the Mount Rushmore list.
If he can get back-to-back playoffs at the top 4, like if he can get to semis back-to-back, and maybe a national championship under his belt, I do think that career-wise, we may be revisiting that.
Yeah, but I think so too. I think, and especially, everybody can say recency bias with that. I get it.
I love Sam, right? I just don't know that he belongs on the Mount Rushmore of Texas quarterbacks. The guy through and through Texas, right? We've all seen the pictures, we've all seen the videos, we've all seen everything. Sam, we fucking love you to death, but you're not there. You're not there, bro. That'd be like saying I love David Ash too, right? I mean, fucking awesome. Yeah. And if his head wouldn't have been exploded like a watermelon on concrete 6 times, then like maybe we're having a different conversation. But
100%.
I mean, anyway. Am I going to be the only one? I'm going to talk about all these old greats. Bobby Lane. Where's Bobby Lane on here?
Were they wearing leather helmets? I just don't keep up with them if they're that far back.
What are you even talking about?
Oh, I'm just fucking with you. No, it's just hard for me to rank some of these old guys, especially in terms of because modern statistics are a lot different than what they had back in more run heavy focused offenses. So it is hard to look at that. But I mean, just comparing statistically, I mean, Ewers is going to be shooting up this board statistically this next year.
Oh yeah, I mean statistically, absolutely. I think, but the game has changed significantly. Teams do play a lot less defense.
Yep.
The rules definitely favor both the quarterback and the wide receiver. Now, running backs, I don't think that the game has changed so much for running backs. Like it's not more impressive that Ricky Williams had his 2,000-yard season.
Probably more injuries. Yeah, probably more injuries, I guess, would be the thing with running backs. But for the most part, I mean, I think running backs an easy thing to compare. It's easier to compare Bijan and Ricky Williams than it is to compare fucking Bobby Lane and Quinn Ewers, for sure.
All right, who rounds out your list?
That was my list. I had Vince, Colt, Major, and Sam. Yeah, there's 4 people. There's 4 heads on the Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah, there is 5. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm going to go with. Yeah,
there you go. I feel really good about mine. I don't know. I don't know
I'm
about
here.
yours.
I'm here for somebody to flame me. I'm ready for somebody to set me on fire and fire me up. Sorry, it is what it is.
Okay. Well, that's what that is. I'm very much looking forward to running backs because quarterbacks, lots of variety and plenty to talk about from a recency bias perspective. Running backs, legendary. Texas has been producing top tier running backs for decades, damn near a century.
Yeah, so, I mean. Yeah, it's going to be pretty wild to see who's left off even more than we chose. I mean, like a guy like Donta Foreman is with a 2,000-yard rushing season, probably getting left off the list. Who knows?
Who knows? I'm real excited for the debate next week on the Mount Rushmore of running backs for Texas.
Yep, I think this is going to be a lot, and I don't think I'll let recency bias sway me as much with this, but maybe.
All right, and to round out, we skipped it last time, but it's back. the Fat Boy Minute. The slightly less Fat Boy Ozempic RGB3.
No, I am losing weight, but I'm off the Zemi dog. I'm off. It just made me feel like shit. Plus, it's expensive. $300 to make me not eat. It's like I maybe if it was saving me enough money in food that I'd do it, but instead I'm just gonna not be a lazy fat piece of shit and I'll work out instead.
Oh, so. I mean that is a way to do that.
And I've been living a little sober living, maybe more California sober, so that you're dropping some LBs on that too. So. But
except when you got the munchies.
I was about to say, except when I'm dabbling in my popcorn bucket full of Dune popcorn, then maybe I'm not.
All right, so the topic for this week's Fat Boy Minute is things that you've cooked lately. So, what great, wonderful things have you cooked lately?
I have been doing ribs a lot lately, which has been fantastic. I've changed
of all
up my
kinds,
style a little bit.
Beef, pork?
No, just pork ribs. I actually, just depending on what's on sale between St. Louis and it's Spare and the baby backs. So they've been fine. I've tried not wrapping, which is actually pretty good. Which normally I wrap. Want to tenderize the meat a little bit, steam it a little bit. But sometimes it get a little too messy. So I've been going like a dry rub and then just basting sauce on after they're smoked. It's been pretty solid. And then today I'm going to be doing my favorite thing to smoke, a boneless, skinless turkey breast. Easiest thing you can ever smoke. Amateur smokers, if you're listening, the easiest thing you could ever do.
Very
the hardest
forgiving.
thing is to find it. Yeah, very forgiving. Hardest thing is
takes
to find
out smoke
it.
really well too.
Yeah, and then so all I do,
even the faintest of smoke rings, you can fucking see it because it's white meat.
So I do. I just get the boneless, skinless turkey breast, or I get the skin on. I take the skin off. Salt, pepper only. Maybe a little bit of garlic, and then I actually like a little bit of cayenne pepper for some kick. So a little bit of cayenne, maybe a little paprika if I want to get a red color to it. Smoke it for 2 hours. Then I put a stick of butter down. Put the turkey on top of it. Another stick of butter on top of that, and then triple layer of foil on top to steam and get all that butter and turkey juice and deliciousness in. Another 2 hours, take it off, let it rest for 30 minutes, and it'll be the best bite of turkey you'll ever have in your entire life. It's just straight butter.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way to your house now.
Just drizzle butter over the slices afterwards too. So good. So what about you?
I've only ever had something like that where I injected Tony C's and butter into a fried turkey that I did this one time. Ooh. And when I cut one of it got one of those pockets that exploded. It was insane. It was insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so that's the other thing I do with the turkey breast as well. If I can find it, sometimes you can't find the injections out of Thanksgiving season. But if you can find it, get the jalapeno butter and just insert that bitch. Stick that motherfucker as much as you possibly can with butter. So you got butter on the outside, butter on the inside, salt, pepper, garlic. Oh, it's so fucking good.
All right. So mine is this past weekend. We got a good deal on some. I hadn't done tri-tip in so long. Such an underrated, just big piece of meat. So if you're not feeling steak or you've had too many ribeyes lately, you don't want strips, you don't want to go all the way to fillet. You're wondering what you're gonna do. Grill up some tri-tips. Give it another try. And what I did is I used the H-E-B Mi Tienda Achiote seasoning.
Ooh, yeah.
Incredible. Incredible. And so I did a heavy dose of that. And then SPG, just simple salt, pepper, and garlic granules or powder, but not salt, garlic powder, right? So, and that is just mainly just to give it a little bit extra seasoning. Your main seasoning, because that achiote does have some salt content in it and some garlic salt. So, that's your main flavor, but then just SPG in there just for a little bit of the pepper that you're going to miss out of that achiote and a little bit more of that garlic flavor. And I actually put it on the smoker at 250 and there were probably 2.5 pound, 2.25 pound tri-tips each. I put those on the smoker, 250. Only got to smoke those things for about 60 minutes. 60 minutes, they get up to about 115, 118 internal, pull them off. And you know what I did? My secret that everybody seems to very, very much like is the tri-tips don't look like ribeyes or other roasts whenever you do them, when you smoke roast them like that. They look like they're just uncooked. And so what I like to do, instead of just searing it hot on the grate, just take that bitch off and then make sure that you blow all the ash off of the coals and just throw those motherfuckers on the coals for about 90 seconds. Straight on. 90 seconds each side. And, you're going to pick them up. There's going to be coals stuck to pieces. Those are the best pieces. You pluck the coal off, and that's like a little charred bit. Oh, my goodness. Just delicious. Crunch. Just delicious. Yeah, that's good.
I like to sous vide my tri-tip. So sous vide it and then just sear the shit out of it. Like, I don't even bother smoking it because it's basically just cooking internally in the sous vide. It is so good. Tri-tip is so underrated, and it's so much cheaper than a lot of that stuff too. And you can feed a whole family on it instead of having to buy individual steaks and ribeyes and shit. Tri-tip is fantastic. Same with like a picanha. Oh man.
Oh yeah, picanha, legendary stuff. Okay, yeah. So I am going to share some of the pictures of this. Look at those. You see where the coals just got it nice and crispy, nice and crispy, and then look at that. Money shot.
That's no Lincoln Riley brisket. Yeah, I'd put it on a cracker.
Yeah, that's money, dude. So, highly recommend. Another thing that I cooked lately was I actually, this past Monday, was just kind of craving a burger and love Red Robin. Red Robin, great. Like, fucking love their burgers. And was just going to, like, dip in for a casual Red Robin solo bottomless side and burger lunch. And the Red Robin near me is no more.
Oh,
it's gone. I thought it was just, like, closed because it was a Monday, and, like, sometimes service industry, like, they give people Mondays off or Tuesdays off or whatever. Nope. Rolled up to the front door, and it's gone. All the signs are gone. Everything inside was gone. I was like, fuck. So I turned around, got in the car, started driving back home all pissed off, just wasn't going to eat till dinner. And then, out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimmer of Korean barbecue and hot pot. And I was like, ooh, this piques my interest.
Korean barbecue with a little grate in front of you where you lay the meat out?
Oh, yes.
Oh, those are the best.
Yes. Oh, so I show up, I roll up in this place, and I'm parking because it opened at noon, and it was like 11:48 at this point. So I like roll up, and as I'm parking, I notice that there were many Asian people waiting in the front.
That's a sign.
It's a sign. And I was like, well, it's a sign. There's Asian people here that are waiting. And then I got out of the car to join the line at like 11:58. And then what I noticed whenever I got out is that none of them were speaking English.
Ooh.
All Koreans at the Korean barbecue. And then I got very, very excited.
Yes.
And so what happened next was everybody, was in line. They were seating everybody, and everybody was in big groups. And then I was just like, table for one. They started laughing at me, and then I ordered the dinner because the dinner had some selections that I felt like I wanted. I went and got the traditional kimchi and everything else.
Oh,
yeah. You can see the grill over there. And this was round one that they brought me. I just told the guy, I was like, bring me what you would order. And so they bring me, what you can't see back here is there's shrimp and salmon behind this big lettuce leaf. So we've got pork belly rolls. We've got prime brisket. We have flank steak, bulgogi, and then Korean short ribs, marinated short ribs, and then obviously the veggies and everything.
The short ribs
was fantastic, right? Awesome, really delicious. First round. Round 2.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
Pork cheek. I mean, if you haven't had pork cheek, oh my God.
Look at that fat on it.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Like butter.
And then they call these finger ribs, and I don't know what finger ribs are, but I think they're just the inside of the ribeye primal before you cut the. I think that's what those were, because it was like really crazy marbled, but they were just little morsels with like bone on either side.
Yeah, I was about to say you can kind of see the knuckle of them in there.
And then I thought, they were just going to bring me out like some steak slices, because this was called KBBQ steak. Look at that. They just bring you a whole ass motherfucking ribeye.
Oh man, the meat sweat's starting just looking at all this.
Oh yeah, look at this. And so just got to get it going.
Oh, the onions on it.
Woo! That was a good lunch. I gained, I weighed myself after lunch. I gained 4.5 pounds.
How was the shit afterwards?
Oh yeah, I just didn't eat on Tuesday. On Tuesday.
Yeah, you just fast. Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, yesterday I went to Pinkerton's and I got two family style trays, not just for me. I'm not that fat. I don't need Ozempic that bad. I got a big old family style tray with everything. And then afterwards we went to Papados. And I haven't been to Papados in a while. It was fantastic. It was so good. Shrimp. We did the shrimp and crawfish fondue. Whoo. It was fantastic. And yeah, I got some shrimp brochette, bacon wrapped. Got a bowl of gumbo with that as well. Oh yeah, fantastic. I'm still full. Except now my wife's texting me, "Hey dummy, remember she's pregnant. 3 days, by the way, until RGB3 Girls fulfills his destiny." Wow. But she's texting me now, "Hey dummy, hurry up and get the fuck off the podcast. I'm pregnant and hungry." So I think that is my sign to end this.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.